Welcome back to Fred-BRICKS-burg, my Texas Lego town set in year 1900. Today we got another big building that we're going to be adding next to the recent Lutheran church that we did in the back row there. So far in the town we have some shops on the right side, a bank, community center, big hotel in the back, got a beer garden. We even have the county jail here on the left, but one thing we don't have yet is a county courthouse. So they get sent to the jail, but there's no prior step to that yet. And that's what we're going to be adding next to the Lutheran church. It's going to be a big spot. It's actually going to be bigger than that, as we'll see in a little bit. It'll be a pretty intricate building, at least on the exterior. It's going to look pretty good. But first, I had a comment on last video of a good idea of making one of the sheep jumping over that stone wall there. And I went ahead and put the one with the bigger wool coat piece on. I only had one of those. So now it makes sense that the reason he has so much more wool than everyone else is because he keeps hopping that fence when it's time to go shear him. So thanks for that idea. I thought that was pretty cool. Today I'll actually be building the second courthouse that Gillespie County has had. The first one was a simple 2-story wooden structure that lasted from 1854 to 1881. The third and current courthouse was built in 1939 and looks pretty modern for that time period, I think. But the one we'll be building is the second one, which now acts as the town library. Built in 1882 from native limestone, it is quite an exquisite structure. With its formal balance, heavy decorative consoles, and classical roof slopes, it possesses the dignity characteristic of Renaissance Revival buildings, and should look good in Lego. It's going to be 1.5 by 1.5 base plates big. Originally it was just going to be 1.5 by 1, but I thought I should push it back a little bit because it's going to be on that back row. So we're going to be doing a big one, using a full base plate, 2 half base plates, and a 16 by 16 base plate. So here's the layout all tiled out. We got a skinny sidewalk up front. This is going to be the path walking up to the building. This is the layout of the building. Inside I went with a light gray, dark tan pattern using these triangle pieces and these pentagon pieces. The courthouse is made of limestone, which I've been using tan for in my town. There's also a lot of olive green painted accents. So here's the back wall here. It has this jut in here. Used some masonry bricks, and I framed out the windows in olive green tiles to get that olive green. For the side windows, I just stacked up clear plates. But for the front windows, front and back windows, I wanted to be able to see in there a lot easier, so I used translucent brick panels, and I just had to put those behind the windows. So they take up a little room on the inside, but I think that works a lot better, and you can see in clearly. Made some custom doors with olive green and used those quarter tiles for some accents there. Got 2 more of those same doors for the ends of the building. So you can start to see that capital I floor plan taking shape. We got these nooks in the back and then the main hallway. For the details on the inside, I made some benches. Simple bench for people waiting for the next court session or whatnot. And then for this cove, I put a little writing desk. I'm sure people need to fill out some forms when they go to the court. I have a staircase and then a fancier reception desk. I use some curved bricks and those scroll bricks. Sign with an arrow to help direct people coming in to find the courtroom. And then 2 more benches for the coves on this side of the building. Nothing too crazy on the interior details, but enough that it is a believable courthouse, I think. Then we have the front wall, which is identical to the back one. Again, use those masonry bricks and the clear windows. And another set of doors on the front. The second floor is going to have some balconies on each side. So I made some posts, again in olive green. The long balcony is pretty simple. Olive green on the bottom, dark brown for the wood, and then those lattice fences. Might not be the best design, it kind of just sits in that area there and easily falls down like that. I think it'll be okay. I didn't want to attach it to either floor really. Some smaller balconies on the side. Had to use a window frame on these because these lattice fences don't come in too wide. And then one more on the front. There we go, we have the first floor. I'll add some landscaping at the end, but if we got a good start on the courthouse, let's move on to the second floor. So the second floor is kind of delicate, but it should get stronger as we build the walls up, hopefully. This side is going to be the jury room, and this side is going to be the main courtroom. Similar design on that end wall. I used the clear plates on this one because we won't really be able to see it on the side, or on this side. Using a wheel as a exterior accent on the gable wall. We'll see some more of those. And then on the inside, a star for the Lone Star State. For the front walls that jut out, I made this arched window. Used an arch and put some 1x1s underneath it. And then this vertical window grid is just a tile wedged in there. It is pretty delicate, so hopefully I won't be touching it much once it's all built. You wouldn't find this technique in a Lego set, but I wanted to get that green line down in there for the framing, and that's the only way I could think to do it. That side popped out like I was talking about. I'll show you, I just put that in there, and then I kind of try to push these two 1x1s as close together as I can to get it to grip it. Use some dark brown for the area where the judge sits, as well as the ornate back panel behind where he sits. Use some window frames there with some dark brown inserts. Got some railings for the prosecution and the defense team to sit behind. Scaled down a little bit here. I only had one seat on either side and then the judge's chair, so I don't have the full jury stand, but it's been Lego scaled. And then the desk for the judge. Got a little gavel there and the little puck that he hits. Gonna go ahead and add one of the front walls before we finish the interior. You can see on the front we got all these clear panels, and then got an arch over the star, and then I got that ornate trim work underneath the eaves, just using some plates and some cheese slopes. For the rest of the courtroom, I made some simple seats for the audience to sit on. That's pretty much the courtroom without the front wall on. Before we do that, I want to add some minifigures. First we have the judge. He's got a gray hair and a beard, some robes. We have the prosecutor. We have the alleged criminal here, standing for the final verdict. And we have the defense lawyer, who doesn't seem too worried about the upcoming decision. I think he's pretty confident in what it's going to be. We have the mob boss waiting the verdict of his minion. He's got a wooden leg. He's had some rough days. And then we have his henchman in the back trying to intimidate the verdict there. Usually Fred-BRICKS-burg is a pretty safe place, but looks like something shady is going on in the courtroom here today. Back wall is similar. Only difference is there is an interior wall that separates the courtroom from the jury room. And then a half door to separate the jury room. I need to print a custom sticker for that sign there. I was going to say jury room. Jury room's pretty simple. Got a lot of stools for the jurors to sit on. I'm not going to put 12 minifigs in here because that would kind of be a waste, but this is where they deliberated and they're not there for the verdict for some reason. Just 12 chairs and a long table for deliberation. 2 more end walls with that delicate window frame, and 1 more end wall. I made the middle 2 windows clear so you can see into the jury room. Kind of a tight fit in the jury room. That door doesn't quite open. You'd have to move the table out of the way, I guess. But we got the 12 seats in there plus the long table. Use some arch pieces along this dividing wall just to make it look a little more interesting. There we go, first and second floor done. It's looking like a pretty good courthouse. So here's the roof. Just used a bunch of slopes and light gray. I didn't film building it because it is kind of complicated and a little delicate. This part was actually kind of hard to do because this width is smaller than this width. So you can see they don't line up at the point, or at where they cross, they line up one layer above it. So what I had to do with that is sink one of those tap pieces and then use this piece to put it on top and cover it up. And it worked pretty well. Another thing that was really hard to do was these front facades on the gable ends. And the courthouse has that olive green woodwork underneath. So what I did here is made a little triangle, and I used some bars that are attached further back in there. And that just goes on there like that. Top one holds pretty well. The 2 side ones are pretty delicate and kind of come off easier than I would like. I wasn't able to attach it because I wanted it gray on the top and green on the bottom, so that was the best I could do. Then I'm going to add some chimneys each corner of the building. I didn't have any fireplaces inside the build, but these older buildings, were heated by fireplaces back in the day. Then I'm going to use some kind of trident weapon as the finials on top of the roof. I think that matches pretty well to the actual building. Before we put it in the city, let me go ahead and add some landscaping to beautify the grounds here a little bit. On this side we got a little post to tie up your horses for when you're going in. Got a mailbox on this side. I actually looked it up. It looked like mailboxes were colored silver at this time period. Put a little bird bath around the side here. They can come out this path and check out the bird bath. Put some branches coming up in those flower beds around the courthouse, as if like they hadn't bloomed yet, or they're still growing, maybe right after winter. And then I made 2 crepe myrtle bushes. Use those seaweed pieces in dark tan with some leaves and magenta flowers. They come in 2 pieces. And then finally we have a newspaper boy on the corner selling papers about the recent verdict and possible corruption. And there we have it. The courthouse is in Fredericksburg, right by the Lutheran church. You can see it pretty well from both sides. I'm glad I set it back. The building itself's not too big, but it looks pretty good with all those extended grounds there. One of the major buildings of the town. Well, Fred-BRICKS-burg keeps expanding. Got several more buildings already planned and pieces bought for them. Should fill up this whole area right here in the future. Let me know what y'all think about the courthouse. I think it turned out pretty good. I'll see you next time on Fred-BRICKS-burg. Thanks for watching.